Let me tell you something important. Your kidneys do not suddenly stop working. Instead, the small daily habits and the foods and drinks you consume gradually affect their health over time. And surprisingly, some of the things that may already be sitting in your kitchen could actually be better choices for supporting your kidneys. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe because this information could be truly valuable for your health. Please listen carefully. Everything we eat has an impact on the organs that work around the clock to keep our blood clean, and those organs are our kidneys. Most people only think about their kidneys when a report reveals a problem or when a doctor says for the first time that kidney function is no longer what it used to be. But the truth is that kidneys do not suddenly become damaged. They are affected gradually, and our everyday habits and eating patterns can either help or harm them over time. Let me explain. Every day, the kidneys remove excess water and waste products from the body and play an important role in maintaining the balance of the blood. However, if a person regularly consumes foods high in salt, sugary beverages, and processed products available in the market, extra pressure may gradually build up on the kidneys. The good news is that there are also certain natural foods that are considered better choices for kidney health. They are not magical cures, nor are they complete treatments for any disease, but a healthier diet can certainly help support overall kidney health. And today, I am going to talk about 10 foods that are considered beneficial for the kidneys. Along the way, we will also discuss some common mistakes people unknowingly make in their daily lives that can place unnecessary stress on these important organs. Interestingly, some of the items on this list might already be present in your home. First, let's talk about cucumbers. Many people think of cucumbers as nothing more than a salad ingredient. Some eat them during the summer, while others do not pay much attention to them. However, an interesting fact is that cucumbers contain a large amount of water, which is one reason they are often included among foods considered beneficial for kidney health. Now, a question naturally arises. What is the connection between water and the kidneys? Let me explain in simple words. One of the kidneys' important jobs is maintaining the body's water balance. They remove excess fluid and help protect the body from dehydration. The problem is that many people do not drink as much water as their bodies actually need, especially during hot weather, busy schedules, or while traveling. As a result, the body begins to suffer from dehydration, and under these conditions, the kidneys may need to work harder to perform their functions. That is why proper hydration is considered an important part of kidney health, and cucumbers can be helpful because of their high water content. In addition, cucumbers are light and low in calories. This means you can easily include them in your daily meals without much concern, whether alongside lunch in a salad or as a light snack in the evening. But there is one important thing to understand. Simply eating cucumbers will not cleanse the kidneys, nor are they a cure for disease. However, if you are someone who drinks very little water throughout the day and consumes fewer vegetables, cucumbers may help improve the quality of your diet. And that is the real goal. Incorporating foods into your lifestyle that can be better choices for both your body and your kidneys. Interestingly, the next item is found in almost every household, and many people use it every day. Yet only a few people know that it has also been discussed quite often in relation to kidney health. I am talking about lemons. Lemons are readily available in almost every home. Some people squeeze them over salads. Some make lemon water, while others simply use them to enhance flavor. But lemons are not just about taste. They are also frequently discussed in relation to kidney health, particularly when kidney stones are concerned. Please pay close attention. Kidney stones come in different forms, and not every type of stone is the same. However, in some cases, the natural compound citrate found in lemons has attracted attention. Simply put, it may help reduce the risk of stone formation in certain individuals. That is why some doctors recommend adding lemon to water, especially for those who have experienced kidney stones in the past. But it is equally important to clear up a common misconception. Many people believe that drinking lemon water can dissolve existing kidney stones immediately. That is not true. Lemons are not magical remedies, nor are they solutions for every type of kidney stone. However, they can certainly become part of a healthy lifestyle. And this is something many people overlook. A lot of people consume sugary beverages, soft drinks, and flavored drinks regularly, yet they do not show the same interest in drinking plain water. Meanwhile, one of the most basic things for kidney health is often simple water itself. If someone replaces sugary beverages with lemon water, it may prove to be a healthier option, especially during the summer season. Another interesting point is that lemons may help reduce the need for additional salt in meals. This is important because excessive salt intake can increase stress on both the body and the kidneys over time. For this reason, many people prefer adding lemon instead of increasing the amount of salt in their food. And these small habits can gradually turn into meaningful positive changes. But the next item on our list is even more interesting than lemons, because not only does it add flavor, but many people use it daily, and it has also been associated with another potential advantage regarding kidney health. I am talking about garlic. Garlic has been part of cuisines around the world for centuries, and is found in almost every kitchen. Most people use it simply for flavor, But interestingly, a great deal of research has also been conducted on garlic in relation to health, which is why it is often included among healthy foods. Now the question is, what connection does garlic have with the kidneys? Let me explain with a simple example. The kidneys do not function in isolation. They are connected to many other systems in the body, especially blood pressure. High blood pressure is considered one of the major factors that can gradually damage the kidneys over time. That is why whenever kidney health is discussed, blood pressure naturally becomes part of the conversation. And this is where garlic becomes particularly interesting, because many people use it to reduce the amount of extra salt in their meals, and this can be a healthy habit. When food lacks flavor, people often add more salt. However, when garlic, lemon, and other natural seasonings are used, keeping salt intake lower becomes much easier, and this small adjustment can provide benefits in the long run. That is why a kidney-friendly diet is not only about what you eat, but also about what you reduce. And salt is one of the things that experts often pay the closest attention to. Another important issue is that nowadays salt does not only come from the salt shaker, it also enters the body in large amounts through chips, ready-made snacks, fast food, instant noodles, and packaged foods. And many people are not even aware of how much they are consuming. That is why in many cases reducing unhealthy habits provides greater benefits than simply adding healthy foods. Garlic is a perfect example because it enhances flavor without requiring extra salt. But one thing should be remembered once again. Garlic is not a medicine, nor is it a treatment for kidney disease. However, if you want to improve your diet and reduce processed foods, garlic can certainly be a good choice. Interestingly, the next food on our list is one of the most popular fruits in the world. In fact, there is even an old saying associated with it, an apple a day. But are apples really considered beneficial for the kidneys as well? Let me tell you, apples are among those fruits that are available almost everywhere. And you have probably heard the famous saying that eating an apple every day is considered good for health. But why are apples given so much importance? First of all, it is important to understand that kidney health does not depend on one single thing. It is connected to your entire lifestyle. What you eat, how much water you drink, how physically active you are, and what kind of snacks you choose each day, all combine to create the bigger picture. That is why apples are considered such an interesting option. Whenever people feel hungry, they usually have two choices. One is chips, cookies, cakes, and other packaged foods. The other is natural fruit. And this is where apples become a simple and practical choice. They require no preparation, are easy to carry, and can be eaten immediately. That is why many nutrition experts consider fruits better alternatives compared to processed snacks. Just imagine a typical evening. One person opens a bag of chips, while another chooses an apple. At first glance, this difference may seem small, but if that same decision is repeated every day, it can create a significant impact over months and years. Healthy kidneys are usually the result of healthy habits, not the result of a single superfood. Another advantage of apples is that they are affordable, convenient, and available throughout the year. This makes them one of those foods that almost anyone can include in their diet. But there is one important thing to remember. The foods we are discussing are meant to support kidney health, not to cure diseases. And if someone already has kidney disease, their dietary needs may be completely different. That is why medical advice from a doctor should always come first. However, when it comes to maintaining a generally healthy lifestyle, apples are considered a very good option. And interestingly, the next vegetable on our list is probably one of the most underestimated vegetables. Many people do not even enjoy eating it, yet it repeatedly appears on lists of foods considered beneficial for kidney health. I am talking about cabbage. To be honest, cabbage is one of those vegetables that people often ignore. Some think of it only as part of a salad, while others do not include it in their diet at all. But whenever kidney-friendly foods are discussed, cabbage frequently appears on the list. Now the question is, why? Let me explain in simple terms. One purpose of a balanced diet is to provide the body with essential nutrients without creating unnecessary stress. And this is exactly where cabbage becomes interesting. It can be used in several different ways, whether in salads, cooked dishes, or as part of various healthy meals. Another important issue is that many people fill most of their plates with rice, bread, or processed foods. And this is where vegetables like cabbage can make a difference because they add variety and help create a more balanced meal. Imagine two different lunch plates. One contains fries, soft drinks, and heavy foods, while the other contains vegetables, salad, and a more balanced combination. Both meals may satisfy hunger, but their effects on the body will not be the same. And this is something many people overlook. Kidney health is not built by a single food. It is shaped by daily choices, and cabbage can be one of those choices that contribute to improving your overall diet. Another positive aspect of cabbage is that it is relatively inexpensive. In other words, it does not require a large budget, which makes it accessible for almost every household. But another misconception should be cleared up. Many people hear the term superfood and assume that one particular food will solve all of their health problems. In reality, things do not work that way. Kidney health is closely connected to an overall lifestyle, and cabbage is simply one part of that bigger picture. Interestingly, the next vegetable is closely related to cabbage and has gained even greater popularity in the world of health. I am talking about cauliflower. Most people think of cauliflower as just another ordinary vegetable. Perhaps that is why its value is often overlooked. However, when discussions focus on foods that support kidney health, cauliflower repeatedly earns a place on the list. So what makes cauliflower special? Let me explain. Many people lack variety in their daily meals. Breakfast is usually the same, lunch follows the same pattern, and dinner often looks no different. As a result, nutritional balance gradually starts to suffer. And this is where vegetables like cauliflower become valuable because they can be included in many healthy meals. Some people enjoy it in curries, others roasted, and some combine it with different vegetables. This flexibility makes cauliflower an appealing addition to everyday meals. Another issue that is becoming increasingly common today is dependence on processed foods. People become hungry and immediately open packaged snacks, heat frozen meals, or order food from outside. Gradually, these habits begin affecting overall health, and the kidneys are no exception because they are also part of the body. That is why discussions about kidney health do not focus only on what you eat. They also focus on what you avoid. This is one reason natural and minimally processed foods are often considered more valuable. Cauliflower is one of those foods that can help create a healthier and more balanced plate. And now we have reached the point in our list where things become even more interesting. Because the next item is not actually a food. It is a drink that many people consider ordinary. Yet when it comes to kidney health, it may very well be the most important thing on the entire list. I am talking about water. Water. And honestly, if someone were to ask me what the most basic and essential thing for kidney health is, my answer would usually be simple: drinking an adequate amount of water. But interestingly, most people understand the importance of water and still fail to drink enough of it. Some people consume tea, coffee, soft drinks, and sugary beverages throughout the day, yet they forget about plain water. And this happens to be one of the most common mistakes. Now the question is, why is water so important for the kidneys? Let me explain with a simple example. Imagine that you have a filter installed in your home. If a proper amount of water flows through it continuously, it can do its job efficiently. But if the amount of water decreases, pressure begins to build up. Something similar happens with the kidneys. They remove waste products from the body, and water plays a crucial role in this process. That is why dehydration is not considered good for the kidneys, especially during hot weather, while traveling, during illness, or for people who sweat heavily. However, another misconception should also be addressed. Many people believe that drinking more and more water is always better, but that is not necessarily true. Every individual has different requirements. Age, weather conditions, physical activity, and overall health all play a role. Therefore, the goal is not to force yourself to drink excessive amounts of water. Instead, the aim is to avoid allowing the body to become dehydrated. And if you want to introduce just one positive change into your daily life, this may be one of the easiest changes you can make. Water is inexpensive, easily available, and requires no special preparation. Now let us talk about cranberries. If you have ever read or heard about kidney health or urinary health, chances are you have come across the name cranberries, especially cranberry juice. But why are cranberries given so much attention? When discussions involve the urinary tract and kidney health, one issue repeatedly comes up, and that is urinary tract infections, commonly known as UTIs. This problem is especially common among women. Some studies have suggested that certain natural compounds found in cranberries may make it more difficult for bacteria to attach themselves to the walls of the urinary tract. This is one reason cranberries are often mentioned in conversations about urinary health. But one very important thing needs to be understood. Cranberries are not medicine, nor are they a treatment for infections. If someone has an infection, proper treatment and medical guidance are essential. Another common mistake is also worth mentioning. Many people buy packaged cranberry juice from stores believing that they are choosing a healthy drink. However, the reality is that some packaged juices contain large amounts of sugar. That is why reading labels is also an important habit. Sometimes products that appear healthy are not as healthy as we assume. And this principle applies not only to cranberries, but to all foods. The real objective is not simply eating one particular item, but improving your overall lifestyle. Now let us move on to blueberries. If you have ever looked at lists of healthy foods, chances are you have seen blueberries mentioned there. Although they are small in size, they have earned a significant reputation in the world of health. However, one important thing should be understood. Some people begin to think of blueberries as magical fruits. But the truth is that no single fruit, vegetable, or drink can suddenly make your kidneys perfectly healthy. The real difference comes from your overall lifestyle. If someone consumes excessive salt, drinks very little water, regularly drinks soft drinks, and then starts eating blueberries alone, that will not provide a complete solution. That is why experts always emphasize patterns. In other words, what your daily habits look like, the quality of your meals, and what you are eating overall are far more important. And if blueberries are not easily available where you live, there is no need to worry. The purpose of this information is not to promote expensive imported foods. Instead, the goal is to understand that natural fruits and minimally processed foods are generally considered better choices, because the real battle is often not between good food and bad food, but between natural foods and highly processed foods. Now let us discuss some common mistakes that people unknowingly make and that may affect the kidneys over time. The first mistake is not drinking enough water. Some people drink only 2 or 3 glasses of water throughout the day and then wonder why they constantly feel tired. The second mistake is excessive consumption of soft drinks, energy drinks, and sugary beverages. This habit not only contributes to weight gain, but may also affect overall health. The third mistake is repeatedly using painkillers without proper caution. Some medications, when used excessively, can affect the kidneys over time. That is why medicine should always be taken carefully and under medical guidance. And perhaps the most dangerous mistake is ignoring the warning signs given by the body. Changes in urination, swelling, constant fatigue, and other unusual symptoms may be the body's way of telling you that something is wrong. Yet many people continue ignoring these signs and keep delaying action for months. In many cases, paying attention at the right time can make a huge difference. And this is perhaps the most important message of this entire discussion. Eating healthy foods alone is not enough. Reducing unhealthy habits is equally important. Now, there is another very important point that should remain in mind throughout this discussion. The foods we have talked about are generally considered better options for supporting kidney health. However, this does not mean that everyone can consume them in the same amounts, especially for people who already have chronic kidney disease, kidney failure, or are undergoing dialysis. Dietary requirements may be very different. Some patients need to limit potassium, some need to pay close attention to protein, and others may receive specific recommendations regarding water intake. That is why anyone already dealing with kidney disease should always consult their doctor or dietitian before making major dietary changes, because what benefits one person may not necessarily benefit another in the same way. And if we summarize everything discussed today, one interesting truth becomes clear. Most people are searching for magical remedies, special juices, or miracle superfoods that can transform everything overnight. But reality is quite different. Kidney health is usually influenced by the small habits we practice every day. The same habits we often underestimate and ignore. Whether you drink water regularly or not, whether you consume too much salt or keep it under control, whether fast food becomes a routine or you choose natural foods instead. These decisions may seem small, but years later they can create enormous differences. And perhaps that is the most important message of all. Health is not built through one major decision. It is built through the consistent repetition of many small and positive choices. A healthier breakfast, an extra glass of water, one fruit, one vegetable, and one less unnecessary soft drink. These things may seem minor, but over time they create a positive impact on your body and your kidneys. And because kidneys work quietly in the background, many people only realize their value when problems have already started. That is why, if you are healthy today, this is the perfect time to pay attention to your eating habits and lifestyle. After all, protecting your health is always better than waiting for illness to appear. I sincerely hope you learned something valuable today. Please take good care of yourself, continue drinking enough water, and give your kidneys the attention they truly deserve. And if you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You never know whose life this knowledge might help. Stay healthy, stay mindful, and always take care of yourself.